Hi everybody, it's September 1st, 2019, and I decided to go for a walk around the neighborhood and take Lucy for a walk, and I wanted to tell my UFO story. Okay, so it was in 1986, I'm gonna say. I was 16, and I was at my boyfriend's house, and he lived in a neighborhood in down the 2 neighborhoods down from me in Saratoga, California, and we were getting ready to go to my house. He was going to take me home. It was like 10 at night or something. So we were pulling out of the driveway, backing out of the driveway in a neighborhood, not too different from just something like this, regular neighborhood with sidewalks and houses and stuff like that. And so we pull out, and he's starting to drive down the street, going, not too fast, whatever, 5-10 miles an hour, whatever. And I happened to look up to my left, above a house, probably this height up there. Like, can you see the tops of those trees up there? It was something like that height above. So like, let's say the height of, like, I don't know, it was like maybe another half of height of a pine tree high. Not that high. There was a UFO. An object hovering in the sky, and I could not believe my eyes, and I said, "Oh my God, what is that?" Something like that. And so we just stopped the car in the middle of the road, and we were just staring at it, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit because your eyes are not expecting to see that, and I was like, this sort of nervousness came over me, like that, in the movies, like where this beam of light comes down and it like sucks you up into the beam of light. Like I was like scared of that. And he was wanting to kind of drive closer, and I was like, no, don't go closer. And he continued, we were both so fascinated, and he just had to, he wanted to see the other side. So he slowly drove kind of down the street more, past some houses to get to the other side, so that we could see another view of it. And somewhere in that time frame, well, let me describe it. So it was round, and it was like hovering in the sky, and it was, I'm going to say, like a silver color, and there were lights on the middle of it, and it was spinning. I don't know if just the whole thing was spinning or just the lights were spinning, or if the lights were just changing colors I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was either spinning or the lights were just changing colors, like from like red to white to blue, something like that. And literally, it reminds me of like a remote control airplane or some sort of remote control thing in the sky, that's just, it sort of hovers and it's sort of moving a little bit. And after a little bit, it started kind of moving to be from above one house sort of down a little bit to about like 2 or 3 houses down. And somewhere in there, a helicopter did fly near it. And so that's kind of an interesting part of the story. So we just sat there. It was there for like 20 minutes or something, and we just couldn't believe our eyes. It was like, it was hard to wrap your mind around what it was. I mean, I'm not going to say it was aliens. I mean, it was definitely a craft, an object, an unidentified flying object hovering in the sky right there. And then, so after about 20 minutes, now this is like the part that is, like it just has, I can still see it to this day. From the moment it was like hovering in the sky, all of a sudden it just went, like it just shot across the sky like quick, like from 0 to like 1 billion in like 2 seconds. Like, and I could watch it. I could still see it going across the sky, and it like really gave the dimension of like how big the sky is, because I could just see it going and going, and as it was going super speed, like Star Trek, like just across the sky. It was just amazing. And then it was gone. And then like, the kind of, the joke was like, I remember thinking like, yeah, I'm going to go home, and like, I got home like, I don't know, like a little bit late, like, I don't know, 15 minutes late. And I was just thinking to myself, like, how funny, to try to, if I was going to try to explain to my dad, like, why I was late. We were watching a UFO, like, that would just sound like so weird or whatever. But so, the fact of us being able to see it together, that was kind of a special time. I'm glad that we got to see it together. He was also the same boyfriend that we were together when I was telling my other story, where the blender turned on by itself, like in the middle of the day. So we had that experience together too. But anyway, so that was a Tuesday, because I know that because we told his mom, and she showed us the newspaper. I don't know if it was the next day or the day after that, but the newspaper article, you can look it up. I told somebody else about this, and they were able to find it. It's the title, the heading of the newspaper article was something like, "Lights Above Saratoga Returns," something like that. And then there was an article talking about, and I don't know who this guy was, this guy or person who wrote the article, but it says something like, for the second Tuesday in a row, a light has, been seen over Saratoga, and then described like some other people who saw it. This one girl who was going to the college, she was at West Valley College, and she went out, left class to go to the bathroom, and she saw it, and she sat on the grass, laid on the grass and watched it, and missed the rest of her class. Moffett Field knew nothing. San Jose Airport knew nothing. San Francisco Airport knew nothing. No one knew anything about this, but there was this helicopter that flew near it. So somebody saw it. And then over the years, I've heard of other people who've seen things. Many other people have seen things. I've seen things, seen objects, seen whatever, aircraft with one light, with no sound coming from it, flying over Saratoga, and so, and then I found out years later, so that was in 86, so when was it? I'm going to say 2012 or so, 2011, 2010, I don't know, somewhere in there. I happened to meet, when I was working at this dental office in Saratoga, I happened to meet a lady who happens to be living across the street and a couple down from that boyfriend's house. And her son has seen a UFO the size of a football field flying over in that same area. And there is a website you can go on, and you can put your experience, what you've seen, and then there's many. He also saw one time, he was up in the hills, and he was looking out, and he could see like positioned one over, East Bay, and then one over North Bay, one over whatever mountain, whatever, and they were all there. And he said he watched for hours. Then they're all just kind of hovering, and then after whatever time, then they all started taking off together and were gone. And then, gosh, there was one time I was, like walking with my dad in I don't know, 2010, or let's say, walking the dog in the neighborhood in Saratoga, and I look up, and I could see that there was one of these what I'm telling you, this an object, an aircraft that was higher up. There was only one light. It wasn't blinking like a normal airplane, or it wasn't acting like a helicopter or anything. It wasn't even flying in the same flight pattern as any other airplanes that go and come from, you know, San Jose Airport or San Francisco Airport. I mean, I've noticed things in the sky, you know, I just have for many years. You know, you pay attention to that. And it was going at a speed that was also different than anything else, and it had no noise. And I was showing my dad, look, Dad, look, see, this is what I'm talking about, stuff like this. And he just couldn't seem to wrap his mind around it. He didn't have anything to say or you know, anything to say about it. So that happened. And then, I don't know, like 2013 or so, I was in Campbell, California, which is just a couple towns over from Saratoga. And I was leaving my friend's house, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and going down his side street, hitting into a more, you know, busy road that was like a 2-lane going one way, 2-lane going the other way. And my eyes happened to look up in the sky, and I saw these two of these same sort of, you know, aircraft that is like where you only see like a light, and they were flying next to each other like this at a certain distance in the sky apart. And it was obvious to me, like and then I got out onto the road as fast as I could to try to follow these two aircraft things. And as I started watching them ahead of me, now they started splitting up and like going one over here, and then they started separating from each other. And so it was like I said, like 1 o'clock in the morning, and there were these guys in the car next to me. We stopped at a stoplight, and I was like trying to get their attention, like, look, do you see this? Do you see, guys? Look. And they thought I was drunk. They were like telling me to, like, oh, be careful driving, you know, like type thing. So whatever. But yes, so there's been sightings in Saratoga, in the Saratoga Hills, and the Santa Cruz Mountains, all sorts of stuff like that. So I wanted to share my experience, and so yeah, so I've had some, you know, unique experiences in my life, and I've been kind of enjoying sharing them. So anyways, that was that. So we are here. I'm here in Savannah area, and curious to see what kind of weather we're going to be getting in the next few days, because supposedly the newest hurricane or tropical storm is coming our way. So it's completely nothing going on right now. It's just very still and kind of some clouds, and just like that, just a tiny little breeze, and that's it. So have a good weekend, you guys, and watch for my next video. Bye.